everybody, I'm Michelle from the Thai Life Homestead and welcome to my kitchen. First, I start with 2 clean trays. What I do with one of the trays is I've poked some holes in the bottom for drainage here, which is important with microgreens. And then I put the one without the holes on the bottom and the one with the holes on the top. So it's got some good drainage going on there, and that will prevent any mold or anything that might come up when you're growing your microgreens. So the first thing that I do actually is I bottom water. And this is something that I honestly usually forget every time and have to start over again. So I'm gonna grab a glass and pour some water in the tray. I'll explain why this is important in a minute. Okay, so you want to be able to see, I don't know, about this much water in your tray. Then you're going to take your potting soil. Microgreens do not need deep soil in order to grow. They literally just need something that they can sprout in, and that's it. Microgreens are very short-term plants, so they grow really quickly and then you harvest them really quickly. So they don't need, unlike a garden or a greenhouse, you don't need to put 2 feet of soil for it to get the deep roots in. We're not even going for roots, we're just going for sprouts here. Okay, so you can see how I bottom watered and it's soaking up into the soil. But I find that if you bottom water as opposed to putting the soil in and then top watering, you are going to have a more even consistency in the wetness of the soil, which is again important for the seeds to germinate. Okay, so it takes a couple minutes for it to soak in. You can see it's getting a little bit wetter here. A little bit, see it's a little bit more jiggly now. Maybe like cake, when you're gonna put a cake in the oven. Okay, so we've got our seeds. So microgreen seeds, again, you can buy at the plant store. They sell microgreen seeds, sprouts, separately from regular seeds that you would grow to put into your garden. Now, this is my first year doing this, so I went ahead and bought the microgreen seeds. You get much more in a pack, because what you're going to see in a moment is that you actually need to put tons of them in, as opposed to just like when you plant 1 or 2 seeds in each hole when you're doing a garden. So let's go ahead and we're going to do clover. I've done this one before, it's really good. Grab some scissors. Open the pack. Now on the back it says to soak the seeds. Some of them say soak before using, some of them don't. I've never soaked any of my seeds and I've never had a problem. So it's up to you completely. You can, there's instructions on the back of the package. You can read them and follow them if you wish. I simply pour the pack into a cup. And we're gonna do half and half because there's not a ton of seeds here. So we're gonna do half clover and then we're gonna do half something else. Sometimes you can even do it into 3, depends how many seeds you get in your pack. So I wanna really show how many you have to put in. A really thick layer covering as much soil as possible. There's quite a few in here. We'll be able to do half and half. Okay. Next we'll do, I'm actually gonna do sunflower seeds. I did these before and they're really fun. Like, you would never expect just a sunflower seed, like you would buy to munch on, like this, sprout and make a microgreen plant, but it does. So again, I don't soak mine, purely personal choice. The more even you get the seeds, the more thick your microgreens are going to grow. One of the last things that I do before I bring it downstairs to start germinating is I like to label them. Clover and today's date, and pop that on there. Cover it up. And now I'll take you downstairs and I'll show you where I keep them for the germination process. The next step is to bring your tray with your seeds down to a nice, cool, and preferably dark spot in your house. I just put them on top of my tray, shelf here that I have my other herbs growing. And this will sit for a couple of days until it starts to germinate and sprout. It's surprisingly fast, so check on them every day or every second day. They probably won't need to be watered. It's quite wet in there. But what will happen is when the seeds start to sprout, this top one will start to pop up a little bit, and then you'll know that it's time to take it to the next step. And I'll show you when that is. It's popped up a little bit, so yep, looks like, come on, looks like we've got some sprouts here. This has been 3 days since I planted, and they are ready for the next stage. So what we're gonna do is take it, it's still really moist in there, doesn't need any water whatsoever. So we're gonna put it down to the next shelf. We're gonna put this dome over it. The dome's just gonna stay for a couple of days just to get them really going, because it'll create a little bit more heat in there. We're gonna turn on our grow light here because we're growing inside. We don't have much sun where we live actually in the winter at all. So we use these LED grow lights. They work awesome. And there we go. We're gonna let those sit in there for, well, until they get big and ready to eat. And just want to show you down here, these are some of the herbs that I've grown from seed with the same light and system as the microgreens. We've got some oregano, lots of basil. They're getting really tall. We gotta eat these. 3 basils and some cilantro. My nephew Rumi helped me plant these and they're doing amazing. They smell so good. We just love having fresh herbs in the winter. So yeah, clover and sunflower coming up, and I'll show you guys when they've grown after a couple of days. Today is the day the sunflower seeds, sprouts, are ready to harvest. It's a very early harvest. I'm just really excited to show you guys. So some of them still have the little sunflower shell on the top. That's totally fine. You can just pop that off. And so we've got the clover and the sunflower. The clover still needs some time. It should grow. I mean, you could totally eat these. Might be hard to see on camera, but they're about that tall right now. They could grow to be about this tall. There we go. It's so cool how the sunflower seed stays on there. So that is perfect and delicious. Actually, microgreens are the most nutritious the younger they are. So this is a perfectly good microgreen to put on a salad, in a sandwich, on your eggs, or whatever you want. So good. So I'm gonna clip a few. us to have for breakfast. I'm gonna attach a few article links in the description about just how good microgreens are for you.